This week on The Battle, it's SS Hellcamp versus Cannibal Terror. Get it on!
Broadcasting from a project studio that's more project than studio. It's Cinema Diabolica's Battle of the Band B Movies. The show that will once and for all crown an undisputed king of Britain's video nasties. And now, here's your hosts, F13 and DZ.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Cinema Diabolica. It's the Battle of the Band B Movies. I am F13.
This is DZ.
And our features this week are the shitty Cannibal Terror and the creepy, farty, smelly The Beast in Heat / SS Hellcamp.
I think anybody going into this is going to realize who the clear winner is.
Right. It's not hard to see who the clear winner is. I mean, just look at the covers of the DVDs and you'll know who the clear winner is. One of them looks like an out of focus vacation picture that Aunt Fran took, and one of them is like a fucking awful glimpse into someone's nightmare.
We do love our nightmares.
Mm-hmm. I don't love Aunt Fran's vacation pictures, though.
Fran is the best. She really knows how to take pictures. Mm-hmm. And when she's in cannibal country...
she knits a mean sweater, I tell you that much.
She knows how to hold her shit together. She can build a mean fort. Mm. Okay, so going back to the 80s, do you think Skeletor was really holding Evelyn back?
Skeletor and Evelyn. You know, there's a lot to be said about that dynamic of the main villain and his female second counterpart. Because you've got your Skeletor and your Evelyn. You've got your Cobra Commander and Baroness. You know, you following me here? You've got what was He-Man? Skeletor and we already said that was the first one. Who was the other one? In Thundercats, there was Mum-Ra. I don't think Mum-Ra had a female second.
No, Mum-Ra usually just weird for whatever reason. That planet New Earth, whatever the fuck it was called,
right?
Just seemed to attract a lot of weird shit to it. It was like a weirdness magnet. So it was mostly Mum-Ra, and he was, we'll talk about him some other time.
Right.
But, I just kept thinking that Skeletor approached like everything with a hammer.
Yeah.
Skeletor and Evelyn was clearly someone capable of some finesse, and she's women, so she's got her wiles, and she also knows magic.
She's women folk. Yeah, so where Skeletor was a blunt instrument, Evelyn was more of a finesser. She would have been able to get things done without garnering the attention of Castle Grayskull.
And, they kept the toy, the two swords, the one that Skeletor had and the one that He-Man had. Clearly, the toy was intended to have those two swords merge. Uh-huh. And there was something like extra special, even though in the cartoon, they really just kind of focused on, what He-Man's sword did. Right. And I'm just curious, what you think about that. It's like he was obviously going after He-Man for the sword, or at least, Castle Grayskull, but... They never, I would love to have seen that episode where, it'd have to be clearly a two-parter or a season finale.
Right, where he temporarily wins.
Yeah, he gets the sword, and like just before the end of the episode, he puts the two together. Okay. And then, of course, that leads into the next season, but I don't think that ever happened.
Sure, there you go. Folks, you're going to be able to hear my dog squeaking on a toy in the background there. If there's any requests for photos of the dog, I will post those in the feed because she's a darling little sweetheart. So let's move along here. Listeners, let us know what you think. Was Evelyn being held back by Skeletor? I'm not sure where all this arbitrary horse hockey is coming from lately, but I'll say that I enjoy it. On to some feedback. Let's see what we got here. We got an email. Hi, Cinema Diabolica. Due to a copyright claim, you are no longer monetizing the following YouTube video. This is an email from YouTube, which we were issued a cease and desist for copyrighted content. Now, I've gone out of my way to make sure there is no copyrighted content in our shows. So what could they be talking about? It says here, the video title is Battle of the Band B Movies, Blood Feast versus Women Behind Bars. The copyrighted song is Chris Voro and Victims. The song is X-rated. Now, folks, I did a little research into this, and do you know what Mr. Voro and Victims are claiming as their copyrighted material? It's the Blood Feast trailer where it says you are about to see some images from the next picture to play this theater. So I replied to the message and I told YouTube, here's the content in question, here's where it's from, here's the library, the Library of State or whatever it's called, entry number for Blood Feast as a public. In the what's it called?
Public domain.
In the public domain, Chris Voro and Victims do not own this content, and their claim is illegitimate. So I sent it in, and let's see, did we get any more email here? Oh yeah, here. Let's see. Got an email yesterday. Hi, Cinema Diabolica. Good news. Your dispute wasn't reviewed within 30 days, so the copyright claim on YouTube video has been released. So we won, but not because we were right, because the claimant didn't actually have any intent on following through. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to publicly state that Chris Voro and Victims are a bunch of rotten cunt faces, and I wish you inoperable brain cancer. Die, you sack of shit.
I love our feedback when it turns out to be something like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's only happened a few times between this, that one jagoff that wrote us an email to tell us how much we sucked, and then we proceeded to rip him apart for like 3 or 4 episodes, and then in our second episode, when someone named Alyssa told us that we were being juvenile and that we could do better.
This is true.
Okay.
You could always do better.
You
but
could always do better.
Forever.
Juvenile forever. So we have one voicemail. It's 2 seconds long. Let's see.
Hey guys, Sean from Chicago.
All right, fair enough.
Wow.
Thanks for the drive-by, Sean from Chicago.
A drive-by feedback. That's the best.
Yeah. All right, let's see what we've got here. 3 weeks ago, 8 days ago. Yeah, nope, that's it. All right, that's some pretty lackluster feedback, but it is feedback, so you won't have to be hearing from Dinkles this week.
So hold on. The one way to you just informed the public that all they have to do is send copyright infringement shit on our YouTube just to hold Dinkles off.
So listen, folks, if you don't mind getting your YouTube accounts violated and banned, because you do get an infraction against you if you submit a false claim. So if you don't mind getting your YouTube accounts infracted and or deleted by Google, yeah, feel free to submit claims against our videos that you actually own the content. If that is a better use of your time than just calling the drunk dial line and saying, hey fuckers, I like you, and then hanging up, I mean, I'm not here to tell anyone what to do or how to be. So normally this is where we would go to break and then come back from break with the trailer for the film and then a review for the film. First feature this week is going to be Cannibal Terror, and it's not worth any of that. So I found the trailer for Cannibal Terror on YouTube, so I'm not. Usually I would splice it in and do a bunch of editing work. Let's just play. Let's see here. Okay. A bunch of clearly white people.
On that part. Oh, look, cross-cultural cannibal club.
Okay, so I don't think there's going to be any voiceover like Cannibal Terror coming to your or anything like that. Okay, so just
I wrote down that 18 minutes and the most violent scene is a guy getting hit by a car off screen. So, okay, hold on. We're jumping ahead because we obviously don't like this movie.
All right, so starting where we should start.
Yes.
Weighing in, this movie's got me all fucked up. So hailing from 1980, Cannibal Terror, weighing in at a far too large 93 minutes. Our IMDb style synopsis reads: after botching a kidnapping, 2 criminals hide with their victim in a friend's house in the jungle. After one of them rapes the friend's wife, they're left to be eaten by a nearby cannibal tribe. So usually I'll say not much more than that happened in the movie. That barely happened in this movie. This movie is a huge piece of shit. It's boring. It's not. I could, if I were to say that it was horribly acted, that would be a compliment. That would be a few steps up. The actors were barely awake. They weren't actors, I don't think. They were probably just, people that the directors knew. And let's get into that for a second here. 3 directors. So you know how they say too many chefs in the kitchen? Yeah, clearly. So as far as the 3 directors, 2 of which were uncredited, we've got Julio Perez Habanero. Julio Perez Habanero, an actor and director. Lots and lots of credits as actor. Only 7 credits as director. Classics such as Sexy Cat and Hot Panties. You go, Julio. Let's see. Next, we've got Olivier Mathot. Let's see. Born in 1924, died in 2011. Now, he's got a few more entries into the genre. He's got Captive Women Part 4, Devil's Kiss, Midnight Party, Maniac Killer. He actually had a few more entries into the genre. He has 6 credits as director. Cannibal Terror, Erotic Dreams of a Lady, Diamonds of Kilimanjaro. That's a movie I have. Uncredited. Viols El Cornets. So he was more of an actual director. And then we move on to the credited director, Alain Durrell, and let's see what he has for us here. Oh, yes, Alain. Let's see. Director, pornography special, festival porno, a bunch of stuff in French, Erotiques Passions, Jail Wardress. So, yeah, these guys are pretty much all just porn industry sleazebags that decided to cash in on the cannibal thing.
And this movie lacks the porn. That actually might have made it interesting.
If it was like cannibal porno.
If it's, basically instead of, you think that they're going to eat you and then they just fuck you.
Right, yeah. Instead of getting eaten, you get a right rogering. So let's look at the writing credits. Julio Perez Habanero is also one of the writers. Looks like he was credited for that. H.L. Rostaine is one of the other writers.
I do not believe that's a real name.
He was actually, he wrote a Paul Naschy film. He was... The Man with the Severed Head.
Yeah. Interesting.
Paul Naschy, Richard Palmer, and Carlos Otero. That actually, The Man with the Severed Head is actually available on that. There's a series. Whoever that's putting out the Mario Bava sets, it's the same company, but yeah, those are available. The Euroshock, I think it is. But at any rate, yes, he's got a few under his writing belt. Maniac Killer as well. Cannibal Terror, Golden Jail, Girls of the Golden Saloon, Man with the Severed Head, Esmeralda Bay. So he's got a few entries under his belt. Not really a big fish, but the real interesting entry here. Who's that uncredited under writing credits? But Jess Franco. And that elicits a huge what from me. This movie has nothing of Jess Franco in it. Nothing at all.
I'm going to say it's almost like an inspired by, or he wrote the outline. He wrote like in a cocktail napkin while they were all drunk.
He wrote a treatment on the wall of a bathroom while he was drunk.
Oh, that would be the best thing. Could you imagine going behind, a bunch of writers who did these kind of sleazebag movies, and they're like, oh shit, they're on the pot, and they're like, oh, I have this great idea, and they pull out the magic marker. I don't know why they're carrying one with them at all times, but you just find in these outhouses, because I just can't imagine them having a real bathroom, writing some bullshit like, oh, I have this great idea. It's like Monkey Chicken.
That's probably what happened. Jess Franco wrote a note on a bathroom wall while he was drunk, and someone that he doesn't even know followed him in and wrote it down and took it as his and gave him a credit in their shit ass movie.
No, but see, that's the thing too, is that I could imagine Jess Franco always signing everything that he writes. So they knew clearly who it was.
So the actual interesting person in this film is Sylvia Solar. Sylvia Solar is the actress who played the White Cannibal Queen in this. She was also in Devil's Kiss. She was in The Werewolf and the Yeti, another film that we'll be covering in this series.
It's always good to return to maybe a favorite. Yeah, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Trampa Sexual, Guapa Rica y Especial, Night of the Howling Beast, which I think is The Werewolf and the Yeti. The Killer Wore Gloves. Of course he did. You're going to get blood on your hands.
Yeah. fingerprints.
Stupid. Quite a looker. The only thing that's worth anything in this film, and that's not even anything. Honestly, there's really nothing else to say about this movie. You got anything, DZ?
It's a film that it seemed like it had some financial troubles at some point, because it starts off in one direction, like, okay, so it's a bunch of criminals who kidnap a girl for money, and they're so lame-brained. It's like, it's just astounding.
Right.
And then they encounter cannibals, and what's hilarious, and it almost sounds like the start of a good like horror comedy is, by the way, we're going to be traveling through the woods that's nearby, and it happens to have cannibals in it. And it's like, wait a minute, we live in a modernized city, and yet we're surrounded by woods, and they're filled with cannibals. What the fuck?
Right.
And at a certain point, it turns into Last House on the Left. And that's only because it's like they had to have a rape in it. The character who ends up raping the housewife, he served no purpose in the movie other than for that function, to cause problems, or friction between this person who's holding them up for a little while until the heat's down. And it's like, why would you bring this guy? It's like, you have the driver, you have the other people who fill a function, and it's like, oh yeah, we're going to bring Rapey. Why are we bringing Rapey? He rapes.
Yeah.
Why would
Clearly
we do that?
a bad choice. Clearly a bad choice. We're doing something that we need to be very focused and be doing a good job at, but we're going to end up bringing Rapey, who can't keep his dick in his pants, is going to fuck everything up for us like he always does.
Yeah, so it's just a bad premise, and
it's a bad premise. It's bad execution. It's just bad everything.
Yeah, it's horrible, and you almost want to make fun of it. I mean, I don't know. Let's see if I can pull out a line here. There is one weird turn of a phrase. My ass is to go fuck yourself.
Okay, I mean, sure.
Okay,
sure. I'm not.
And this road's right on cannibal country. They'd love to put you in the soup.
They would indeed put you in the soup. I just imagined a bunch of smartly dressed cannibals with well-combed hair slicing up carrots in a large pot and filleting people to put into the soup. So the only interesting thing about this movie has nothing to do with the movie itself, but it's the parallels, and not even the parallels, but everything else that it shares with the 1980 film Mondo Cannibale, which is a Jess Franco film. Now, many people suggest that Franco's footage was borrowed for Cannibal Terror, but then if you examine it closely, it seems like there's a lot more than that. The locations, cast, dubbing actors, there's footage of cannibals dancing that's in both films, but then there's a footage from that, shoot that is in one film that isn't in the other, and then quite the reverse. Other footage that's in the other film but isn't in the first film. A lot of one actor, it says here on Wiki, one actor with a very distinctive face and a large Mick Jagger type mouth is seen in Cannibal Terror in no less than 3 roles, 2 cannibals and 1 border guard, and is also quite visible as one of the cannibals devouring Al Cliver's wife in Mondo Cannibale. The man who plays the guitar at the safe house is one of the 2 guys who finds Al Cliver after he's had his arm cut off in Mondo Cannibale. And in addition to these connections are the obvious cast parallels of Olivier Mathieu and Antonio Mayans, both of who have starring roles in both films. Porn star Pamela Stanford plays Manuela in Cannibal Terror and has the brief role of the unfortunate Mrs. Jeremy Taylor in Mondo Cannibale. She's also been in a number of Jess Franco's films around this era, like Lorna the Exorcist. So yeah, it seems to me that they were both making, they made 2 movies with 1 budget and a set, which is not uncommon for Jess Franco. In fact, we just watched a movie recently, a Women in Prison film, where Jess Franco took the investor's money, made his film, but then siphoned off a bunch of money to make a second Women in Prison film. So I have to assume that this is what happened here.
It clearly sounds that that's like that's his MO. It's not uncommon at all,
Just trying
for
to get
low
output.
budget. Yeah, it's interesting. Actually, it's almost like he's almost like Corman-esque-ing.
Right, it's very Corman-esque. He's skimming off the top to just kind of get as much output out there as possible.
Why not? You're making a cheap movie. It's not like you really needed 3 writers for something like this. So quality isn't in question. It's just, hey, output.
Yeah. So let's see. Cannibal Terror. It had 7 scenes of violence, gore, or cruelty, 3 scenes of sexploitation. It had shit, fuck, balls, ass, and was the biggest pile of poop this side of anything else that has ever sucked.
And then it sucks some more.
Yeah, so does it deserve to be on the nasties list? There was some explicit gore and explicit cannibalism scenes where you could see people's chests being sawed open and guts being pulled out. So I guess, yeah.
The pig fake out, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, and then there is the subject of rape, so obviously that's
right.
That's a really touchy material. I guess it does. If nothing else, no one should watch it anyway. And I would hope people would just go, hey, maybe we shouldn't see it because it was on the banned list, as opposed to the opposite effect, which usually is true. Right.
I'm not telling you guys not to see this. I'm just saying that I'll laugh at you and make fun of you if you do spend time watching this piece of crap. So yeah, that's Cannibal Terror, and we'll be right back with The Beast in Heat.
Hey, this is Mark.
Justin.
Thomas. And Gwen, you were listening to Cinema Diabolica.
Also listen to The Break Room at breakroom.tv.
I'll go out. Gasoline. High five.
Check it all out at breakroom.tv. Out, go out, gasoline, high five. Hey, this isn't really a promo, but since I can't actually count on Marcus to get me one in anything even resembling a timely fashion, I just wanted to add that the guys from Break Room have a new show that they do in addition to the Break Room called Brew Bloods, and it's a beer review show that I actually liked a lot. If you're a fan of beer, and let's face it, you probably couldn't listen to this show unless you were tossed, you should check it out. I don't think they have a unique site yet, but of course, you can check it out at popsyndicate.net or popsyn.com. Cinema Diabolica is going to be back on popsyn.com soon as well, so that's the thing. Okay, back to the show. Fall in, maggots. Your orders are as follows. Cinema Diabolica is now on YouTube. You are to subscribe and like all videos. This is normally where one would explain why and how it helps the show, but I will not be doing that because this is not a request, sunshine. It's an order. Support the show by subscribing on YouTube and liking videos. You've got your orders. Dismissed.
It all started about 3 months ago. One of the officials said he'd seen his wife walking in the village at night, only she'd been dead for 2 days.
Seemed to get a perverted kick out of making the poor son of a bitch suffer.
Here, listen!
You're listening to Cinema Diabolica, number 1 with a bullet.
Heil Hitler! And as far as your God is concerned, well, you should know that we Germans have always had him behind us. It's an exclusive privilege of our race. Now he's ready to give us a demonstration that would make the God Eros go breathing.
They've murdered Irene and arrested Christina and Don Lorenzo.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get on with freeing them.
Don't worry, my child. You're now in God's house, and nothing will happen to you here. You're quite safe.
No one is safe, I tell you, Padre. And the awful thing is that... And I assure you that very soon you'll have these swine under lock and key. You'll see. You and me, we'll conquer nations. Ah, you're hurting me.
Hey, baby. All right, we're back. Our second feature this week is the sublime La Bestia in Colore, a.k.a. The Beast in Heat, a.k.a. SS Hellcamp. Now, this is a more infamous Nazi exploitation film.
Gorilla Man, how we love you.
Hailing from 1977, the year of my glorious birth, and weighing in at a lean mean 86 minutes.
And it does more in that 86 minutes than the entire 90 minutes of Cannibal Terror.
Yeah, and I will admit there are like the movie goes feast to famine. There are parts that are just jam packed with just gore and or torture and or insanity and or lesbian sex scenes and or just full on insanity, and then it goes into just a bunch of exposition and or a plot. Now, none of this is necessarily bad. Like, you do want plot, and you're gonna want a little exposition. You want them to explain what's happening and talk about the goings on, but you do kind of yearn for the insanity to come back.
Well, it's just like comic relief. In this case, it's dramatic relief, to give you a reason for why they were fighting the Nazis. Otherwise, what was the point? It's just all madness.
Right.
And you have to be careful of that because there is a torture montage I never get tired of seeing.
Indeed. So let's see. Our IMDb style synopsis says a beautiful, nefarious senior female SS officer creates a genetic mutant human beast. The beast is a rapacious, squat, mongoloid sex fiend, which she uses to torture and molest female prisoners while the Nazis watch. The vertically challenged beast is kept on a diet of mega aphrodisiacs. There is plenty of sadistic titillations, gore, nudity in this Nazi subgenre exploitation flick. Yet again, Sujit R. Varma, same fucking guy who writes all of these shitty synopses. Every single time I read one that I'm like, what the fuck? I can count on it being his name at the end of it. The
synopsis exploitation.
Right. What he's missing is that there is and it is kind of a subplot about a French resistance and their work against working against the Nazis. Just a bunch of guys with mustaches, black turtlenecks, and little black beanie caps.
And the priests and prostitutes in this movie work overtime to take down the Nazis.
Holy shit. The priest and prostitute network of resistance is pretty goddamn impressive.
Yeah, that's the dramatic, subplot part, and it's interesting how how it compares against the exploitation aspects, especially when you compare this movie to other Nazi exploitation movies. It's like, wait a minute, they actually put an effort into a story here and try to get you to feel for these characters.
Yeah, they definitely did, and they used a good amount of stock footage as well.
Oh. This is true.
Most of the war scenes were stock footage. It almost feels like two separate movies. The movie with Macha Magal's character, Dr. Ellen Cratch.
Cratch. Calling Dr. Cratch.
Calling Dr. Cratch. Dr. Cratch. The man beast, the people and officer, and just the prisoners that they torture. And then the other is the resistance film. So let's just look at this overall. Overall, do I like this movie? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it a good movie? Technically, no. It fails in all the ways.
What's wrong with it?
It fails in all the ways that films are meant to be, cohesive, but it is just such a spectacle. It is just such an amazing spectacle that it just never feels boring. It doesn't really drag, because the second a scene would start to feel like it was going on too long, it moves on to something else insane. SS Hellcamp, if you are the kind of person that can stomach this kind of thing, you will love this movie. Oh yeah,
indeed. We had an interesting conversation earlier where I said this is almost pro-feminist, and I won't go too far in saying that, but there are three. We mentioned the prostitute and the doctor, but there's actually a third strong female in this movie, and each of their motivations are very different. and each of their outcomes are quite interesting. But they're strong women, and it's really, really interesting to see that in of all exploitation films, that Nazi exploitation films seem to have the strong female characters, and it almost seems to be the counterpoint where it's like, see, having a strong woman only leads to destruction, and it's like, not in this film. Right. There's some interesting motivations for these characters,
and how.
And I'm not saying it's too deep, but it's still a very interesting footnote.
It's not. Yeah, it's definitely not at all too deep or taking itself too seriously, but it's just enough tantalization, which isn't a word, to keep everything feeling fresh and like, oh, hey, this isn't just filler. There's a story here.
Yeah, and
with
one of my
characters.
favorite lines.
Yeah.
The Lord won't betray you. He's the best.
Followed not too far off by, what does a church have to do with God? Folks, if you can find the SS Hellpack, Exploitation Digital put out a 3-set SS Hellpack triple feature, which contained SS Experiment Love Camp, SS Girls, and SS Camp Women's Hell, which, now that I'm saying it out loud, it does not contain SS Hellcamp. So I don't know why I'm bringing it up.
I think you're letting the Nazi exploitation love and joy that we have. It's weird. We run from giallo to Nazi exploitation as like our top genres.
Yeah, that is definitely true. But SS Girls is another really good one that I hope we'll be able to cover someday.
Regardless, we'll break the fucking rules and do it anyway.
We will break the rules and do it anyway. So this film, Beast and Heat, 1977, directed by Luigi Bazzella. Luigi Bazzella, his filmography is pretty interesting. When the Bell Tolls in 1970, Nude for Satan, which I'm sure all of you have seen in the racks at your local horror movie DVD store. It's out there.
Who wouldn't get Nude for Satan? He's the best person to get Satan, or to get nude for, to get Satan for. What the hell am I saying?
Bloodsucker leads. Oh no, that's actor, director. Yeah, here's the credits.
No, read it anyway. It sounds like the start of a good title.
The Bloodsucker leads the dance.
Yes.
In 1975. But under director.
That has to be Leech Man. Please don't let it be a fucking vampire.
Django's Cut Price Corpses, Paid in Blood, God is My Colt 45. Nice.
Yes.
The Devil's Wedding Night, Nude for Satan.
This guy knows how to pick. He's going purely by title.
Oh, no, he
like
definitely
me
does.
Picking roles. It's like, what's the title of the movie? The Devil Wears Red? Nah, I'll pass. But the devil leads the dance? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there we go. When the devil wants to dance, you wait till the song stops here. There's another one. Caput Lager Gli Ultimi Giorni dell'SS. The Ultimate Women of the SS or something like that. I don't know. At any rate,
thank you for that.
Yeah. At any rate, the film Beast and Heat stars one. I lost her entry here. Macha Magal as Dr. Cratch. Dr. Ellen Cratch.
And she is really attractive. I was hoping for one of those teen turnarounds, like in the movies where they take down the hair and take out the glasses, and she's super gorgeous.
So she was also in, as an actress, she was in Daughter of Emmanuel, The Erotic Adventures of Robinson Crusoe, which is, I don't know why, I guess because it's fair enough.
Did she play Friday?
I think Friday and Caruso played her, if you know what I mean. Man, Woman, and Beast in 1977. Casa Privata per la SS, which is SS Camp Women's Hell. Interesting.
Was it? Were you just saving another link for yourself right there? You're like, I'm gonna look at this later.
And Spank Banked. I'll look this up. The Nouvelle Mosindes. Yeah. So she's a very Aryan German master race looking type that found her way into more than one exploitation film and more than one Nazi exploitation movie. I can't really explain or really talk too much about SS Hellcamp. It's because it would just break down into us describing scenes. It's insane. It's gory. It's violent. It's offensive. It's fucking bizarre. I just really think you need to see it. If you're a fan of exploitation film, if you like this show and you've not seen this movie yet, people, get off your ass. Go watch the fucking film. It is amazing.
Absolutely. You got to see the Monkey Man get his game on, for one thing, and you've definitely got to see a guy getting drowned while being whipped naked, and he actually does take one in the crotch.
Yes.
Yes.
It just doesn't. It doesn't stop. It's so good. All right.
We've covered this movie twice now.
We have covered this movie twice now.
It doesn't get fucking old.
Which is why I'm trying to talk more about, the people in the movie and, stuff surrounding it or what have you, because we've covered it before in our old Christmas special.
Oh, I love our Nazi Christmas specials. Our Christmas specials are special.
Extremely special. La Bestia in Calore. Let's see if there's anything interesting under its listing here in Wikipedia, which you could do on your own. So why am I just going to read it over the show?
Just do it in a really sexy, like Nazi type tone.
A sexy Nazi type tone. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and put a cap on this before it devolves into something that all of us are going to regret. Let's see. The film duplicates the formula of the surprise hit Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS, and its sequels, which popularized Nazi exploitation. Subgenre, Macha Magal's sexy yet cruel SS dominatrix is clearly patterned after the titular Ilsa character. And I will agree, although Diane Thorne does have much larger cans than Macha Magal, Salvatore Bacaro, who plays the Beast, he is clearly a mutant. In real life, I'm not talking about in the movie. I'm just saying in real life, he's clearly a mutant. See, he was in the Lee Van Cleef movie, The Grand Duel. Frankenstein's Castle of Freaks. Cinematic Titanic does that movie. You can watch it on Hulu if you've got Hulu.
Ooh.
Yes, the Frankenstein's Castle of Freaks.
That's my whole response, sorry.
Yeah. Ooh, that's all you got to say. Salvatore Bacaro, Beast. Let's see. B movie due to poor sound quality. Wow, when the movie first starts, that dun dun music, it really kind of gets you ready for what you're about to see. It's a little, just it's gritty, dirty. It's almost like you shouldn't be seeing this.
But you must watch this movie.
You must watch the movie. Okay, so I'm not going to drag this out any longer. SS Hellcamp had a whopping 16 scenes of violence, gore, cruelty, a whopping 10 scenes of sexploitation. It had gore, Nazis, lesbian love scenes, gore again, lots and lots of bullets, baby tossing, baby shooting, and the hairiest man beast this side of a Ron Jeremy sex scene.
And let's not forget, he likes the taste of pubes.
And he does enjoy a mouthful of pubes every now and again. So the question comes, does SS Hellcamp belong on the nasties list? DZ?
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
There's no question in my mind. This movie is one of the nastiest. It's going to be hard to beat this one. It's way up there.
Yeah. If a kid ends up watching this movie, there's going to be a lot of explaining.
There's going to be a lot of mental scarring if a kid watches this movie.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would have been able to survive this movie, and I've seen some stuff.
Yeah, I probably would have turned it off. Even if I was watching it and could have gotten away with it scot-free with no one finding out and punishing me, I probably would have just been like, I don't think I should be watching this. Click.
I probably would have lasted up until the pube eating scene. Gone, okay.
Oh my God!
And that actually, if I'm not mistaken, follows the whole torture montage.
Yeah. The torture montage happens, and that it's capped off with him with with a mouthful of pubes. Ugh, I'm starting to gag.
He mugs for the camera. You need to come up with a song. And just take the little bits where they focus clearly on his face,
right?
and just do a loop of those sequences and make like a 3-minute song. Make it sound really poppy, like a pop hit, but it's all about Nazi exploitation or about, how they're trying to make the superior race and this is what it looks like.
Sounds like a lot of effort. So if anyone else wants to do that, please feel free and send it in. We'll probably credit you. Probably.
And then he can try to catch us on copyright infringement on YouTube, and then we'll get feedback.
Hooray! And poop. So yeah, that's our show for this week. Beast and Heat, SS Hellcamp, clearly the winner, easily winner, not even a question as far as who the winner is this week. Clearly moving on. Cannibal Terror spiraling into the shitter where it belongs. Next week on the
flush it quick, double flush it, because I can imagine it being a floater.
And it'll float unless you struggle it down the turlet. Next week we've got Nightmares in a Damaged Brain and Delirium. Neither of which I have links to watch, so this will be interesting.
We'll see if we can fix that.
We'll see if we can, but there's no promises. What's the show that we do? Oh yeah, for Cinema Diabolica, I am F13.
This is DZ. Watch Daredevil,
and we'll see you at the Nasties.